face condition, and those activities actually in a much larger area of the brain, and that's what is an important biomarker to study the brain activity. And this involves a lot of classical physics as well as a lot of quantum field theory and quantum physics. And related to those, difficult to go into the theory here, but if you can believe me that these things will give you a bigger picture, then you can analyze what brain is trying to do. A good example of the phase transition is like when you talk about triple point of water. So at one pressure and temperature or one pressure and volume, you will see ice and liquid water and the vapor. They are all together at the same moment, and you could switch from one to the other with a slight change in pressure or temperature. So that's a simple example. Same thing is going on in the brain, but it is more in an information domain where the cortical phase transitions happen and the information begins to form like a phase cones and begin to spread all over the brain. So now if you believe me what I'm talking about, here is an example of duration of an instant. So when I visualize an object, this area begins to act, and here what I'm showing is that slowly the intensity in the visual cortex is changing. It rises and it falls down. And if I were to compute all this information, then it comes out to be about 14 milliseconds, and which is very similar to what instant is being defined in Buddhist literature. Not exactly the same, but very close to it. And this is only into visual area. Same thing we have done on the emotional area, language and memory area, when you are searching for name and form, and it comes out to be this similar, about 13.5 to 14 milliseconds. And so it matches very well with what people have said and Buddhist philosophical time frame. Okay, so now jumping into modern measurements, looking at EEG, the top line shows you a lot of bumps. These bumps refer to different parts of the brain, how they are analyzing the signal, and these there are different stages. So like you see the object, you have this initial impression, then you try to figure it out, its shape and form and name, and then suddenly you say, yeah, I know what it is, and that is the eureka moment, recognizing. And then you verify, and then you return to the background activity. The total time to recognize these things is about 0.8 to second, and that matches very well what people talk in Buddhism. So here I have superimposed Buddhist terminology on the insight movements. So looking from the Buddhist side, you can see like a visual generalities are happening first, then you search for its name and form or arthasama, and then what you call mental action is actually 0.86 seconds, which is very similar to what EEG or neuroscience is saying. And one human reflection will be a complete action of visualizing an object and seeing it. And that comes out to be very similar. And then we also studied these insight movements or time to recognize an object for normal subjects as well as for subjects who have a slight slight training in Vipassana meditation. Now here Vipassana meditation is from Goenka side, not Vipassana on the Mahayana side. Both same terminology but different description. So we just have to be aware. So we're not talking about Vipassana from Mahayana, not like a lockdown, but it is more like a from Vipassana from the Theravada side. And what we found that people who have the slight training in Vipassana, their object recognition time frames were fast. They can recognize slightly faster. So like a 0.83 for normal, 0.7 seconds for Vipassana subjects. And that is a big finding. We haven't had time to write this thing, but we are in the middle of publishing it. Okay, now, if there is anybody who is a neuroscientist sitting in the audience, then you will be very happy with this slide. Otherwise, just ignore it. It's not necessary. But for the fun of it, the blue line is for normal, red line is for the Vipassana subjects. And if you look at the second slide, and the second part in the middle, you can see big oscillatory line. That is where Vipassana subjects are recognizing the object and comparing it with memory. There you can see big oscillation. And normal subjects, not too much difference over the whole time cycle. I am running out of time. So, similar to that, the phase transition for a normal and meditative subject happens, and phase transition are very slow or very fast for meditative subject. So, I'm going to skip this slide, but in general, it is very subjective. You can control the firing of neurons by thinking, and that controls the flow of currents inside the cell. So combining all these things, timing is very subjective, and you can use this thing to develop techniques to treat mental disorder. So here, what we are proposing is you can develop a neurofeedback, neuromodulation device based on EEG. I can show you the EEG profile normal, and when you begin to change your behavior based on generosity or moral behavior or patience, then you can see your anxiety-filled brain is slowly becoming as a normal brain. And this way it opens up a way to treat many types of mental disorders. And if you don't mind my saying so, entire Buddhist teachings are neurofeedback. Like when Buddhist teachings you say, okay, change your behavior from negative to positive thinking, it is a neurofeedback. So Buddha was a great neurofeedback scientist. Okay, so due to lack of time, I will just touch very briefly. We talked about luminous nature of mind, where it is clairvoyant, where it can be at many places at the same time, and do these things. So, long time ago, like in 1980s, we developed some theories based on physics of faster than light, and also time is multidimensional and complex. This is the framework. Concept of past, present, and future disappear. On one time axis, you have past, present, future, but on a different time axis, there is no concept like this. So every phenomena is present all over. Every distinction between past, present, and future disappears. So you could be anywhere at any time. So quantum entanglement, and you can be clairvoyant, or you can be at many places. So I'm sorry for speaking longer, so now I need to shut up.